Welcome back to Inside the Mind, everyone. I'm Sam, and here with me, as always, is Sid. Today we're going into a big one. The word narcissist is everywhere from breakups to boardrooms, but the truth behind it is often misunderstood. Sid, where do we even start?
Yeah, narcissism has kind of turned into a buzzword. People throw it around when someone's selfish or rude. But Narcissistic Personality Disorder, NPD, is something much deeper. It's not about vanity. It's about wounded self-worth, covered by a mask of superiority. And before we go further, quick reminder, Sam, neither of us are therapists. We learn from research, psychology texts, and real human stories. What we share here is understanding, not diagnosis.
Right, so let's break it down. What's the textbook definition?
According to the DSM-5, NPD is a pervasive pattern of grandiosity, need for admiration, and lack of empathy, starting from early adulthood and showing up across different contexts, work, relationships, family, everywhere. But underneath that "I'm the best" facade, there's often deep insecurity, shame, and emptiness. It's like building a castle on glass. It looks strong until someone taps the wrong spot.
So people think narcissists love themselves, but it's kind of the opposite?
Exactly. That's the paradox. They don't truly love themselves. They're obsessed with the image of themselves. It's not self-love. It's self-construction. They create a version of who they wish they were, and then spend their life defending that version from being exposed.
That's heavy. Can you give an example?
Sure. Let's take Arjun, a marketing executive. He's confident, charming, articulate the life of the room. But if someone questions his idea in a meeting, he reacts with cold anger or passive aggression. At home, he needs constant validation. Did I do well? Do you think I'm better than them? He's driven by this fragile belief. If I'm not admired, I'm nothing. That's the core wound of narcissism, the terror of being ordinary, unimportant, or unseen.
So where does that even come from? How does someone become that way?
There's no single path, but common roots include 1. Early emotional neglect or conditional love. As a child, maybe they were praised only for achievements, not for just being themselves. They learn, I'm loved when I perform, not when I exist. 2. Overpraise without grounding. Some kids grow up being told they're special all the time, but without emotional warmth. So they develop entitlement without empathy. 3. Trauma and shame. Many narcissistic adults carry early experiences of humiliation, rejection, or feeling powerless. Their grandiosity becomes armor. It's survival through performance.
So it's really like a mask that protects from old wounds.
Exactly. But here's the tragic part: the mask keeps them isolated. They crave love, but can't tolerate intimacy. They demand admiration, but not understanding. Because understanding means being seen, and being seen means the mask cracks.
That explains why relationships with narcissistic people can feel so intense at first and then so painful later.
Yes. That cycle has a pattern. It's called idealize, devalue, discard. First, they idealize you. You're amazing. I've never met anyone like you. Then, once you're emotionally attached, they start to notice your flaws or project their own onto you. You go from being their savior to their disappointment. And when you try to call it out, they may gaslight, twisting facts, blaming you, rewriting history, because admitting fault would shatter their fragile identity.
So they don't know they're doing it?
Often, no. Some are consciously manipulative, but many operate on instinct. They genuinely believe their narrative because it's safer than facing shame. Think of it like emotional armor that's fused to their skin. They can't just take it off overnight.
That's hauntingly sad. Is there any way to help or heal?
Healing is possible, but it's one of the hardest journeys in psychology because it begins with something narcissism resists: humility. Steps toward healing include 1. Long-term therapy, often psychodynamic or schema therapy. It's about helping them build a stable sense of self without needing admiration. 2. Empathy training. Learning to truly see others' feelings, not just their reactions. 3. Building shame tolerance, being able to face imperfection without collapsing. 4. Relationship boundaries, partners, friends, or family. Learning to stop feeding the cycle of validation and control. And if you're someone dealing with a narcissistic person, your healing matters too. It's easy to lose yourself trying to be enough for someone whose enough doesn't exist.
That's powerful. So it's not about labeling them monsters. It's about understanding the wound behind the behavior.
Exactly. Behind every narcissist is a child who felt unseen and built a mirror so shiny they could never look past their reflection. Understanding doesn't excuse the harm, but it can explain it. And in that explanation, maybe we find compassion not for what they do, but for why they became that way.
That's a solid close, Sid. To everyone listening, if this resonated or reminded you of someone, remember, information is power, but boundaries are protection.
Well said. And as always, this podcast is about awareness, not diagnosis. We're all just trying to understand the patterns that shape our minds and our lives.